Wow, what a card. What a card. That literally had everything you could ask for. Like, literally everything. We got controversy. We got a weird ending to the fight. We got a knockout. And we got one of the best fights we've seen this year overall. And I know people are calling the main event a robbery. People are forgetting a robbery is when it's not close. That was a very close fight, so it's not a robbery. I don't really agree with the decision, but at the same time, I see what the judges saw when it came to like pressure. But we'll get to the main event later. Okay, so the first fight that I want to talk about is the Ben Whitaker fight versus Liam Cameron. So Ben Whitaker wasn't showboating at all. He really didn't have any time to in this fight. Liam Cameron was given a really tough fight. He was struggling in there. At first, Ben Whitaker was very active with his straight punches, keeping Liam Cameron away. But again, like, we didn't see any flashiness out of Ben Whitaker. We could tell that this was a different level for him. We're seeing the normal Ben Whitaker where he had sharp punches and some of the best body shots in the game. But again, it doesn't seem like he has that much power in his hands, which is a problem because if he was landing those body shots with some real power, it would be fight enders almost every time. But as the fight went on, Whitaker was really starting to feel the combinations from Liam Cameron. And it really seemed like when Liam Cameron was landing a lot, this incident happened on the ropes.
Slower fighter. Whoa. And wait a minute. They've gone Royal Rumble WWE style.
Which actually ended the fight, and it made it go to a decision where it ended up being a draw. And a lot of people were saying that Ben Whitaker faked this injury and he intentionally did that. And it did look like he intentionally leaned back, I'm not going to lie. But when it comes to him faking the injury, you can't really see how he landed on his legs, so no one really knows. Alright, and the next fight was a Chris Eubank versus Sharon Maida fight. Now this was a good fight too. Chris Eubank started off a little bit slow, kind of being over-eager with the uppercut he wanted to land really badly. He did end up getting a knockdown in the first round. Then later on got a knockdown in the 6th and the 7th. And actually knocking him down 2 times in the 7th to get the TKO. He finished him with a nasty screw body shot. I didn't predict a knockout. I thought this fight was going to go to decision. But Chris Eubank looked very impressive in there. But at this point, he needs to face elite level competition to know where he's at. He's saying that he wants to fight Canelo. I don't know about that fight. But him and Conor Benn actually faced off in the ring. I think that's a better fight for him. And seems like they're doing a good hype job right away. Conor Benn, like, instantly ran into the ring right after the fight ended. Like, I never seen that before. That was wild. Before I get to the next fight, I'll quickly talk about the Sky Nicholson fight. I was very impressed with her. She had very elite footwork and movement and combination work. Like, it was a very dominant fight. Like, she was winning that the entire time. Great combinations, great footwork, fast hands. Her versus Serrano would be a huge fight. I know now she's 12-0. I forgot what Serrano's record is, to be honest, but she's probably the best female boxer in the world. So that fight would be a super fight. I would love to see that for female boxing. Next fight was Fabio Warley versus Fraser Clark. Man, this was a scary knockout. I didn't know much about this fight. I didn't even know it was a rematch, to be honest, going into it. First round, Warley just goes in with smoke, landing shots to the body upstairs. Throws like 3 overhands in a row. The third one cracks him right on the side of the face. I don't even think I could show this because the guy's face was literally dented right here. And it seemed like his jaw was broken. Oh, it was disgusting. He was up against the ropes, like basically out cold with a dent in his face. That was probably one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen. So yeah, Warley with a very nasty round 1 finish. Very impressive. I can't wait to see his next fight. Now I'll talk a little bit about the co-main event. It was Opieta versus Jack Massie. Now, Opieta was put on an absolute masterclass with elite footwork and some elite combinations. Just, Massie had no answers. His corner actually had to throw in a towel at one point because there was just a bunch of unanswered combinations. By the time Massie was throwing his next punch, Oppie, whatever the fuck his last name was out of range already. Like, he just couldn't hit him. By the time he was swinging back, he just wasn't in range. And when he was back in range, he was just getting peppered with shots. So his corner threw in the towel. Great TKO win. Now for the main event of the evening. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. So this fight was an absolute banger. It lived up to everything that we expected. I would like to say I called it because I didn't agree with the decision, to be honest. I thought Bivol won. But I guess they valued the fact that Beterbiev was applying the pressure most of the fight more, which I understand. But it did seem like most of Beterbiev's punches were landing on Bivol's guard, and he was doing a good job circling around away from his power hands. And for the most part, only absorbing shots to the body. I didn't see that many clean punches landed to the face of Bivol. But there was some exchanges where they were just trading in the phone booth. They weren't very long exchanges. But like near the ends of the round, there were a couple times where they both just said fuck it and just started trading. And that was very sick. We got firefights and we got a chess match all in one. The only thing that we didn't get was a knockdown. But in a fight as high volume as this, that's okay. It's just high level boxing. A knockdown doesn't happen all the time. During the fight, Bivol was bouncing around the outside, circling, hitting Beterbiev with a straight jab punch. Like he was hitting him with a 1-2. Jabbing, circling. And yeah, most of the time Beterbiev was applying the pressure, but it did seem like that Bivol was scoring more clean blows. I know it could be hard for the judges to see if punches are landing cleanly or not, especially when Beterbiev punches that hard. It just kind of sounds like all of the punches connect. And as later on in the fight went, Bivol was actually landing more than 1-2s. He was landing like 1-2, left hook, uppercut, body shot. He was really throwing like 4 or 5 punch combinations, where Beterbiev wasn't really throwing long combinations throughout the fight. Just kind of body hooks, trying to set up hooks upstairs. So yeah, I do think that Bivol outscored Beterbiev, but I'm not a judge, to be honest. That's a very hard thing to do. People kind of bitch about how judges fuck up fights, but to be honest, how would you score 12 rounds and be fully focused the whole time? Probably wouldn't be that perfect too. But people just gotta stop calling close fights robberies. I will admit my jaw was dropped when Beterbiev was announced the winner, but again, after a second, I was not surprised because he had very high pressure, very high volume the whole time, and the judges loved that. I ended up being 2-1 on this card. I know it's lame that I only picked 3 fights, but I didn't want to pick any fights I didn't know about. I predicted the Ben Whitaker fight, even though it ended weirdly. And I predicted Chris Eubank to win, even though I didn't predict him to win by knockout. And I didn't get the main event right, but it is what it is. 2-1 isn't great, but hopefully on the next card, I'll be able to predict more than 3 fights. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this card. I thought it was a banger. These Riyad season cards really don't miss. Let me know if you thought this was a robbery or not. Let me know what you thought about the other fights. Let me know if you think Ben Whitaker cheated to get out of his fight because he thought it started going wrong. If you guys enjoy boxing content, UFC content, or Misfits boxing content, I upload 3 times a week here. So consider subscribing and hitting that like button. I'll pop up right on your algorithm. You won't have to be searching for my videos. The algorithm's actually been pretty nice to me. I've been getting a good amount of subscribers, few hundred views on a couple videos, so yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Again, let me know what you guys thought about this event. Let me know what you thought about each fight. Let me know what you think will be next for all these fighters. Put me on. I'm still new to this boxing stuff. Thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual, and peace out.